Yeah, 24 flats.
I'm not stopping that for 15 minutes.
No, it's good. They were earning the right. I'm not talking here.
Small shed.
Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, grant to those who hold office in this town the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, mindful of their responsibility and of the needs of those they serve. They may promote the true welfare of your people and advance your kingdom on earth, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
As usual, we've commenced with seeing the proceedings of the public meeting of skegness residents. I'd like to thank you for coming here tonight. As you know, these are held immediately any full council every month. Now, residents can ask questions or make short statements on any matter related to skegness that is not on the council agenda. The matters that are on the agenda, please wait for the public participation item that is part of the council meeting. When speaking, please state your name and speak where you live. And the public meeting will finish at 7:15 or earlier if there are no further questions. So would any member of the public like to raise any particular matter, please? Mr. Claxton, please.
Yeah. Bill Claxton, living in Skegness. I took offence to what Councillor Anderson was saying last month about racism. He wants racism, he wants to go to Slough, Luton, Aylesbury, Chesham, and then you can start talking about racism. That guy don't know what he's talking about. I doubt if he can even spell the word. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that comment, yes. Anybody else leave the public? Yes, the gentleman at the back.
Phil Gaskell, St Andrews Drive. I have alerted the ELDC councillors who represent me about an incident I saw in Skegness on Sunday involving the illegal use of an ELDC vehicle. I have rung the ELDC to appraise them of this. At 12:10 on Sunday I was collecting for the lifeboats. We collected over £2,500 and I saw one of the ELDC white vans texting and driving outside the lifeboat station. I've asked my district councillors to look into it for me, but I thought I would mention it to the town council, and I understand that what the chap was doing was alerting a warden to come and ticket lifeboatmen's cars. So not only is it illegal, it's disgusting.
Well, thank you for that. Thanks for something bearing in mind. Anybody else, please? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Russell Sparks from the Gronite Hotel and the Save Our Foreshore Group. I'd just like to ask 3 questions, if I may. As you may have all seen, the price that was paid for or has been offered for Pierfield, subject to planning, has been released to the general public after severe pressure from people within our group. I'd like to know if this council was aware of the price that had been offered when you voted to sell it. That's my first question of 3. I'd like to know, secondly, if you were aware that there is a quote within the LDC for tarmacking over the Kiddies Corner section to replace the car park, which is at a cost of £268,000, which will be deducted from the sale price of Pierfield. And thirdly, I'd like to ask if any of you asked under the national planning policy if Whitbread or their KCS developments are going to be obliged to replace the recreational land with a piece equal to, which is clearly stated here in the National Planning Policy. And I think that's all three of those points are relevant, that the public should be aware, if this council were aware of any of those.
Thank you for that.
Mr Mayor, if you're to discuss any of this, I shall have to leave because I've been chairman of planning at East London. I can't take part in any of it.
It's not part of council, so it's a public meeting.
I appreciate that. When we get into the full agenda,
As you know, this is the informal part of public participation. And we'll get into the full council meeting.
Well, I think a little bit, but I know staying with the other district councillors, yes, the district councillors knew rights to sell land when they voted to approve it. The district council, I don't believe at any time it's been publicly announced to town councillors. Regarding the price for tarmacking an area of the foreshore, I didn't know they had that price, but I do know there are at least 3 other options they are exploring at the moment. Unfortunately, they are commercially sensitive. And finally, planning isn't my thing, so I can't possibly comment on the 3, I'm afraid.
Is there anybody else who wishes to raise anything? Yes, Mr. Brown.
Aidan Brown from the Middleton Guest House. On behalf of the Carnival and the Carnival Girls, we received a phone call stating that the council had agreed that the town mayor should not attend any functions with the Carnival Girls. This came through a phone call from a lady, and I just wondered what the reason for that was.
That isn't what was said. There was a phone call to the town council offices, and it was explained quite clearly that any function that requires the presence of the mayor has to go through the formal process. And if that formal process is followed, then it will be put to the mayor, or if the mayor's not available, the deputy mayor, and a decision will be made as to whether they attend. The issue around the Carnival princesses was that the town council will not invite them. It's quite clear in our policies and procedures that we will not invite anyone at all other than those that are on the invites to ourselves. So if the invite is for the mayor alone, then it's the mayor alone that will respond and reply to that. It's not our responsibility to then go and invite other people as a part of the mayor's entourage. That's quite clearly laid out. It's discussed by council some time ago. It's quite clearly laid out in our procedures, and that's what we follow.
Right. Okay. Anybody else from the members of the public?
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Brown.
from the Middleton Guest House. As you're all aware, that we had some travellers parked on the North Braid extension. We're extremely unhappy that the police would not deal with it. Extremely unhappy that the council would not deal with it. And I can't understand why nobody knows who owns that land. Does someone around here know who owns that land? Because I have here, when I bought the property, it states here at the front of the property there is probably car parking space for 5 vehicles on our property, and permission has been granted from the council for a further 4 vehicles opposite. So when it says opposite, it means along there, and the dotted line down there is private access for a public footpath. That public footpath is going across council land. So why weren't we given help from the police or the council, because it was on council land?
Well, I'm assuming Mr. Brown will refer to his leadership to the council or possibly the council. We don't do that yet. As for, I know that it's a very contentious issue, or even more so now, as to the police's response or lack of it. And I'm sure this will be debated endlessly. It's an issue which concerns all of us greatly. And as I say, regarding the ownership of that strip of land, unfortunately, I can't change the light on that. Anybody here change the light on that, Mr. Brown? Okay, well, you made the point, and it is something which is concerning us all. Anybody else like to say anything, please?
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
Could I just comment on what Mr. Brown said? One of the vehicles I reported to the police as being untaxed. I don't think anything was done about that. And another one I believe to have been cloned, and I will be going back to the police about that as well.
All right, thank you for that. We've got 5 minutes left. Yes, Mr. Claxton.
Yeah. Why isn't the town council and East Lindsey got one master block on any caravans or anything that comes into this town? Like the travellers that was up, what Mr. Mayor's just been on about. It can be done because I've seen it done in other towns.
Well, can you recall, I think you may well have been at the meeting, Mr. Claxton, when Inspector Andy Monrees was here,
Yeah.
and I think a similar question was posed to him. And if I remember rightly, his answer was something that we can't prevent people coming in on the assumption that they're going to cause problems. Now, if I remember right, I know his answer clearly didn't meet with a great deal of sympathy, but as I say, unless my memory is playing tricks on me, I'm sure that was the answer. It's not a word for word, something very similar. As you know, regarding travel, the district council is trying to find a suitable sign for them, which they have to do by law, and that is through the extremely difficult, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not a shop owner or anything like that, but I know one person who's had £50 worth of goods stolen, and the Adster up on Roman Bank, they had 100 and some odd pounds stolen. Now something should be done, because some of these people here are shop owners and that. You should start be doing something for your own protection. And if you can't do that, well, I'll give up.
Yeah, your point's well made, Mr. Claxton. Unfortunately, we don't have this representative here tonight who could perhaps shed some light on that.
I want to sit on a different issue.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes left before this. Oh, sorry, yes, Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, if I can put 3 points rather quickly, I know we're running out of time. Have we ceased any road cleaning or path cleaning in Skegness? As you know, I'm a business owner in Skeg and I'm having to sweep my own property now. I don't know what the hell I'm paying rates for at the moment. Every time I open the cappy up, I've got beer cans, bag ends and everything outside the cappy. Got to shift it all before I can even open. Paper napkins from KFC, everything's outside. We don't seem to have any road cleaners. I don't think it's just our area, I think it's most of Skeg at the moment. Point 1. Point 2. Really disgusted that Mablethorpe's had their lights turned on. We, of course, had a soft turn on. I think most people are upset about it. I know some of the customers coming in the cafe, they're asking me now, when do the lights get turned on? I says, they're on. What? They've booked holidays to see the lights turned on. We're not having it this year, they're already on. So, a bit upset that Mablethorpe's had a light turned on, Skegness has got dumped. And as we know, most of the money comes from Skegness. Quick third one. Is it fair that councillors can go slating, which I've sent a letter in, businesses in Skeg and pubs on the internet, without mentioning, any specific one? If I did it, I'd soon get pulled down. This needs looking into about councillors making comments on the Facebook about businesses, Greasy Spoon, for instance, and pubs in Skegness. That's my thread.
Right, well, the first two related to lending operations operated by the district council as to whether or not they'll do the job. We could always make some inquiries on your behalf. Regarding your final point, I just think that all of us have an obligation to be mindful of what we say. And that's on the agenda. Yeah. Right, it's 7:15.
Did you want to raise something?
Well, be very brief.
Yeah, I will be brief. Lots of people where I live, Beacon Park residents have said to me, and I've spoken to Councillor Dennis about this. Last year we had construction on Beacon Park Drive with Anglian Water and the contractors. They said they were going to be here to give a presentation 6 weeks. In fact, it was 6 months before they did the work. It was an amenity area. I spoke to the town clerk, still waiting for a response from the town clerk, and that was 3 weeks ago, I think, or 2 weeks, remind me later, about the infill on the work they did. They filled in the whole area with inert waste. I spoke to Councillor Dennis about it. He said to respond to I take this up with the Environment Agency, me personally, who is replenishing their responsibilities here. And there's also an issue of where's the missing £5,000 gone that was afforded to the for construction to the Beacon Park residents. That should have gone into the community park for the Beacon Park residents, but it's disappeared. That should be a benefit for the disruption for the Beacon Park area, for the whole area. Get that money. I think I saw it in the Skegness Partnerships funds when the last time I looked at them. So why was that money given by Anglian Water to Skegness Partnership when it should have come from the Beacon Park Board?
I think we've now got to the end of that session, so thank those of you that made your contribution, thank you for that. Now we'll now move into the town council meeting proper. Can I respectfully request that you either put your mobile phone on silent or turn them off for the duration of the meeting, and that members of the public are not allowed to participate in this meeting outside of that item number 4. So on that basis we'll now move into the agenda. So the first meeting is the first item is the minutes of the last meeting. Now, will someone move that these are a correct record? Is that seconded? Now, before I take the vote, remember, if you're going to query anything, it is only after the accuracy of the minutes. So, have anyone got any query after the accuracy of the minutes? No?
I've never seen any races in skegness. Also, the person who races, can he understand Urdu or can he understand Polish or anything like that? How do we not know that they're not being racist towards us?
Well, yeah.
There's people, the person who races, make racism, makes it a frontline thing, and it's not in this town. As I said before, if you want to see racism, go to Aylesbury, Luton, Chesham, Slough, then you'll see racism. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Bear in mind, it's actually an item we discussed in the evening. Has anybody else got anything to say regarding tonight's agenda item, please? No? Right, so moving on, it's item 5, it's the announcement and correspondence. So I just remind you that live engagement today are all available on the council's website, all the social media outlets which the council subscribes to. But I have a couple of things I wish to bring to your attention. First of all, one of the things that I did attend was to do with the Butterfly Hospice Trust, and they sent a letter of acknowledgement which I will read out to you, just for myself. And it says, the management team at the Butterfly Hospice Trust would like to say a big thank you for attending the Butterfly release at the Crown Hotel. It is a very important event on the annual hospice calendar. This year we sold 680 butterflies over 4 locations and we're delighted with increased turnout. We very much appreciate you joining us, and that is from a lady called Jenny Parker, who is the event organiser. So I thought I'd bring that to your attention. And secondly, a little update, I might have to clock Mr. Collins on this. The clerk and I met with the representatives of the Royal British Legion to discuss the arrangements for this November's annual parade and all the associated matters that go with it. We was told that the Legion now, as a result of the national policy, will not take the lead in this event, which they have done previously, and that they are willing to assist, but the overall responsibility lies with this authority. And it's sort of, I find very disappointing to say the word. You'd like to comment, Steve, as to the likely implications, if any, of the council.
We've checked with our insurance, and our insurance will cover us organising the Nordic State Parade. There is obviously work to do in terms of organising road closures. When the Inspector Hay gets back, we'll obviously be liaising with him over those marshalling of the road closures. Previously, the police has taken charge of that and has managed it as a rolling closure. There will be other paperwork that we have to fill out in terms of because it's classified as an event in Skegness, and we have to comply with the various regulations of that. So there is a bit of office and time involved in doing that, but there shouldn't be any financial cost.
Did they give any reason other than international policy why they don't want to do it?
Well, no, the national policy.
The national policy appears to be a cost-based issue.
There you go. Right, moving on. Item 6, schedule of payments for approval. You all have a copy of these. Any comments or observations on item 6? If not, will somebody move and somebody second and these be approved?
Yeah.
Second. Will you show your approval otherwise? Thank you. Right. Item 7. Now this is questions and comments to the representative. Now we don't have to get individuals with us tonight. I want to make a comment on that.
If I've got a written response from the police in relation to both of those items, so I don't know whether
Well, I think, if I may, I think the probably benefit the two questions which was been posed to the police, and the one from Councillor Anderson and the one from Councillor Carville. So, Councillor Anderson, would you like to read out?
Yeah, I'll read it now.
Read it out and then we'll wait for the response will come.
Yeah, okay. At the last council meeting, Councillor Brooks stated that there has been no increase in reports of racism in Skegness, which he had confirmed with the Lincolnshire Police. Is this correct? If so, then why have I received numerous complaints of racism from local residents?
What's the response?
Right, the response from Inspector Hay on this one is in reply. I can confirm the following, so that's put to him. On the 4th of July, Councillor Brooks asked me the following question. Just wondered if racism and hate crime is on the rise in Skegness or increased since the referendum. On the same day, I replied as follows. I can confirm that we are not experiencing a rise in hate crime or racist incidents. This has not changed since the referendum. Since this reply, I can also add that to date, Lincolnshire Police has not experienced any, an increase in the reporting of hate or race crime in the Skegness area since the referendum vote.
Right. That's the response.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't the official response in respect to the question which you posed, Councillor. So I think what I'll do now, the second question which Lisa responded to was not from Councillor Carver. Would you like to read yours out?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The question was, could the inspector comment on the increased removal of baffles in the exhaust system on motorcycles, please? The noise from these machines is offensive to the general public, as no normal conversation can take place due to the offensive noise, and anyone with delicate hearing has pain when they pass. It used to be an offence to run a motorcycle without baffles. Is this still the case? If so, then when will enforcement take place? Thank you.
And the response
The response is from Sergeant Kate Ogling. In reply to the question from Councillor Cargill, yes, we do stop motorcycles when we come across them if they are making an excessive noise. The officer, if authorised, can prohibit the vehicle there and then, or if not, a vehicle defect rectification notice can be issued. This requires that the police noted defect is fixed as soon as possible and that they provide suitable evidence within 14 days that this has been done. This is usually endorsed on the form by an MOT test centre to prove the fault has been rectified. If you fail to do this, then you face the prospect of prosecution, points on your licence and a fine. I hope this answers the questions, but if there are any particular areas with this problem, can I ask that it's please report it to us so we can deal with it appropriately.
Right, so as I say, we've got the end of the debate. Would somebody move that those two responses be noted? First, second, would you show me your approval of that or the other? Thank you. Item 8 is a report from Council representative to outside parties. And we have a report from Council Carver relating to the dairy forum. This is already circulated. Would anyone like to ask any questions of Council Carver relating to his report?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thank you, Councillor Clark, for your report. I am concerned with so many issues going on surrounding the coast. We heard one issue today about a lack of lights in Skegness, the switch on lights of Skegness, yet Magna-Vita, who is a subsidiary of East Lindsey District Council, can afford to put on some lights and switch on for. Why is the park looking?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You got something?
No, I was just confused about the...
Right, okay, I'll continue. I'm just concerned that there's only one issue that was raised, and that's the neighbourhood plan. And the poor attendance obviously concerns me when obviously it is an important item. But there are other important items that concerns us here in Skegness as well. And I know for a fact, speaking to you, that they concern you as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Thank you, Councillor Anderson, for that. Yeah, it was announced that they were going to talk on the whole of the core strategy. And as Michael Patrick Steve will tell you, he's got all his papers laid out on the table in preparation. And as I say, all they talked about was just this housing and said, any questions? If not, we'll close the meeting. It was very disappointing because, as we said, you park your car in the car park and you've got nearly a 3-mile walk to get in, which is all blocked. The only advantage we've got at the moment is that we have been told the next meeting, which is later, I think this month, they are going to unlock it so we can get from the car park in, and they have promised we can have a cup of tea, so hopefully the meeting will last a bit longer. But yeah, I think Steve and myself were both disappointed in the meeting that it didn't cover more, but couldn't do much about it.
The reason I was looking a little bit confused was because this was a special area for them just to talk about the local plan. It wasn't about any other issues.
Right, okay. With that then, we'll
Can I
move
can I just say
on.
something?
Yes,
Yeah. I'm no longer a member of VL, but when I was, a couple of months ago, I did ask or request that, well, Lisa Collins came along to give a presentation to actually explain to members what a bid is, because lots of people are still don't know what a bid or a DBID is, and I think she was due to come along last month. I wasn't here, but I don't think she was.
It will be arranged for her to come along. We have had a discussion, and hopefully September, May, when she's got something that she can actually report on the site.
Okay, thank you for that. So we're moving on. Item 9 is reports by different county councillors none have been received.
With your permission, I should, again, we've said before, sometimes, I mean, this wasn't changed at, during the town meeting, but often, it's going to be out of date by the time we raise things. Nothing's been done, so with your permission, could I just raise something that's been...
In form of a report.
Yeah, I mean, it's regarding the illuminations and switch on, so, yeah. What I'd like to say was that I attended Maplethorpe illuminations, and it was extremely busy. One thing it did prove that you didn't need an expensive celebrity to turn on the lights. That was apparent. And going around actually talking to people, the one thing that most people were there for wasn't the actual illuminations, it was the fireworks. People love fireworks. You thought, you go to, London, for the New Year, people go for the fireworks. It's a big celebration, part of our culture. Now, there's been a lot of moaning and groaning on Facebook, directed to me as a district councillor. Why haven't we had a switch on this year? Why haven't we had a celebrity? What's being done? Some of you have attended meetings where you'll discover that the job was given to SEQA to do this. Their members felt it important, that they had to do it, but they pulled out. That job was then given to the Skegness Partnership that put it on last year. It came under extreme criticism. People slated it, they pulled out, probably because of some of those comments that were said. I believe now, I'm not native to Skegness, but when you talk to people going back into the 1970s and 1980s on a Wednesday night, there used to be a firework display happening on a weekly basis. I never went there, but it was always down on the boating lake where we recently had a successful event, for SO, which brings that area area back into life. I mean, I do understand that there is still a pot of money available to do something, but no one's tapped into this money. No organisation has come along to take up this small pot of money, which I believe is around £7,000. Now, I would like to see this town do something. I don't like to say end the season, because we like the season to continue, but at the end of September, that we actually have a firework display for this town and start using it, have an extra event, and I'm sure that the town council could, and I think this is where Maplethorpe succeeds over us, because there's a lot more partnership working at Maplethorpe. The town, they all seem to be working together there. Skegness, we all seem to be working against each other a lot of the time, and it's about time we all start working together. So I think that there is an opportunity still to do something this year. I was disappointed, like many, that there wasn't a switch on. Well, there was a switch on, but it was done, this new word, softly. I would like to see something happen at the end to celebrate the season, to celebrate the lights, and I'm sure we could do something in the form of a fireworks display. It was quite nostalgic having something again on a Wednesday evening. I know fireworks are expensive, but there is some money there, and we shouldn't just let that money disappear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very quickly, just by saying, the money for the switch on event is still there, hasn't gone anywhere. The partnership and the business community, which is the Skegness, decided to switch on is no longer the big draw which it once was, and they agreed unanimously not to have a switch on. they have already been approached, sorry, the Chamber of Trade has already been approached that will it be interested looking at the idea of a fireworks display once a week again because there's some money being made available for that. That approach was made to them last month, and the best of my knowledge yet, whilst they were quite interested in the idea, there's still nothing concrete has happened. It was the fireworks. Everybody thinks it's amazing how the fireworks will match the music, you know, well they never were. When the boom of the music matched the boom of the fireworks, that was nothing more than pure coincidence. That everybody loved it. So yes, we should be doing that again. And I think we should be doing it on a weekly basis, but not just through the 6 weeks of the season. Let's have it for 10 or 12. So those negotiations are ongoing, and I agree with you, it's fantastic. Everybody loves fireworks, even those who sit there and moan about them, wondering how pathetic they are, because that will happen. One pathetic way to work that was, but at least we'll turn out to see how pathetic they are, so that's perfectly good news. We live in a time when people like to moan, but on this occasion, I think the people of the town would never explain to them that actually it wasn't a council or anybody to making sure they didn't have a switch on. The business community and the partnership decided there was no longer the door for that very reason. They were paying £5,000, £6,000 and £7,000 for somebody who wants to get 12 the X Factor. And nobody had a clue who he was. The days of getting the big draws, well, I'm sorry, they are ridiculously expensive now. You know, if you look at the big draws, you're looking 50, 60, 70,000 pounds for them for 10 for half an hour. And if you want photos with them after, that's an extra £100 a time. So unfortunately, those are the sad times we're in. But what I can say is, I agree, fireworks is great. The district council has already talked to the Chamber about that, and I'm sure it'll become a partnership agenda very soon as well. But the whole town needs to get behind that. We have the children involved, we have everybody involved. We should be the town delivering that, not the council. If the council delivers it, they can put it at any time. If the town delivers it, it'll be there forever.
Yeah, I've heard what's been said, but I'm old enough and here long enough to see when his town council used to do it along in partnership with East India District Council, and we run the show, and we run it good, and I think you remember that council. The parade started from here, and ended up in Clocktown, and thousands of people, holiday makers and locals, were entertained, and that's what it's about, entertainment. It's not about a show or business who supports this or whatever. It's the community who actually pay for it through their council tax, not the business sector, the council taxpayer. That's who pays for it, and they want to be entertained. When it comes to entertainment, that's what the holiday makers come here for, to be entertained. They want an attraction. They don't want the same old, they want different things. They want different things to entertain them. If they get bored, they go elsewhere. It's simple as that. We've got to move on, we've got to be progressive. The other thing is, Councillor Byford, you said that maybe thought switch on was good on the beach. Can I ask you a question? Was there security provided, and also was there toilets provided on the beach?
There was certainly security provided, yeah. I'm not sure about the toilets.
Okay. Because I know from talking to some businessman here who has an end-of-season show, who wanted to put on his end-of-season show and was refused by the Cindy District Council unless he provided security and toilets for that show on his premises.
Right, I think that is very good here, and I think that people will understand that. So we'll move on. Item 10, planning
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, a late report came in, didn't it?
Yes, it did, and I spoke correctly. Yes, I do apologise.
There was a question at the end, but I think it's important to answer, Mr. Mayor.
It did, yes, a late report came in from Councillor Duncan relating to the Children's Centre Advisory Report. Has anybody got a copy of this?
Yes, very good report.
Has anybody got a copy? Very detailed one. Right, well, as Councillor President, not here to ask any questions on this.
Can I comment on that? There is a recommendation as such in the report about supplying.
We won't be able to take a recommendation because it wasn't on the agenda as of the recommendation.
Well, therefore, can we move it to the appropriate committee? So we can debate that, because I think it's very important that we do support young mums, and also young mums who actually want to breastfeed.
Yeah, that would be
So let us take a recommendation. The report says, and we do so quite easily, the town clerk could ring up this couple or send them an email saying, why not make an application for the grant? It's not saying that we put money into it. Yeah, so surely that could be done in an informal way, because that's the only way to give money to an organisation living, isn't it? For delivering this thing there through the grant process. So I would, can't move it, but I would respectfully ask to give them time.
That's not
Okay. Right. On that basis, then, so thank you for reminding that, Councillor Kirk. So, that brings us, as I say, to item 10. The first one is to know the minutes of the Planning and Planning Policy Committee meeting on the 2nd of July. These were approved by the Planning Committee on the 26th of July. So, someone move these notices. Is that seconded? All those in favour, please show. And the second one is to receive, consider and adopt it.
Yes, subject to reapproval of the road item which refers to the list of the local plan.
So, we've heard the use that caveat from the floor. So, to receive, consider and adopt it, otherwise, the resolution from the minutes of the planning and policy committee held on 2 to 26th of July. Follow. Right, so I'll move that then. Is that a second then? Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Right, thank you for that. We now move on to item 11, which is the Business and Resources Committee meeting. This is to receive, consider and adopt otherwise resolutions within the minutes of the Business and Resources Committee meeting on November 26th of 20th of July.
And I would ask Council to note especially the recommendations in B6 because they have implications.
Are you aware of that? Right, on that clear understanding, you move you did it. That moved by Councillor Calder, seconded by Councillor Freeman. Those in favour, please show. Any against? Right, now, item 12 is the motion. Now, we have a motion here proposed by Councillor Calder and seconded by Councillor Gray. Now, you've got some little response there.
There is. When the motion came in, I took the liberty of contacting the Chief Council, so I have got response from them. So I don't know whether you want to do the motion first, and then I will get that response.
If you want to courtesy, so, Councillor Carver, do you want to, the benefit of the members of the public, read out your motion?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Before I actually read it, can I sort of point out that like myself and the wife came out from having a cup of tea. Straight opposite was the embassy bus park. There were 4 coaches parked there. Open Top had to stop in the middle of the road to let their customers off. And on this other side of the road, near the clock tower, there was a coach parked there that was picking up their passengers, and the chapel bus had to pull up outside the amusement arcade to pick up their passengers. And this is basically what it's about. That I propose that Skegness Town Council communicate with Lincolnshire County Council and East Lindsey District Council, if appropriate, regarding the new parking restrictions and signage outside the Embassy Centre on Grand Parade. When the presentation was made regarding coaches dropping off or picking up outside the Embassy, on the proposed schedule there was to be 1 bus space. On the original plan the colour was wrong, indicating a loading bay, and a sign saying local buses only. However, now that the signage is done, the bus bay is now large enough for 4 coaches, which, as I've said, is encouraging a drop-off here, and the sign says buses only. Hence, coaches are still dropping off and picking up here. Motion is that we contact the appropriate authority to answer the questions. 1, why 4 spaces instead of 1? 2, why is the sign outside the embassy, the only one at that time to say buses? All the other signs said local buses. And 3, are these errors to be corrected? I feel that Skegness Town Council is being ignored yet again, as are our residents, and feel it's time for us councillors to make a stand for our town. Thank you.
How about a written response from the highways officer? Would you like to read it? Yes, sorry, Councillor Gray, you wish to make any comment on this stage?
Not really, Mr Mayor. I did meet up with Councillor Cargill and we did look at the areas which had been marked out, and I totally agree that it was unacceptable.
Well, we'll wait till the response. When we've heard the response, we want to have a bit of a debate about it.
Hear the response first.
Sorry?
We can hear the response.
So I contacted the senior highways officer because there has been an ongoing dialogue between us for many months about this issue. So, and he had just previously asked for any feedback, so this was a good opportunity. So this is the response. In basic terms, the bus stop adjacent to the embassy is for service buses, local buses to use, not visiting coaches. Although there is an overnight taxi rank on the same line. The length of the bus stop taxi rank has remained the same since the changes were made. I will ensure that the signing for these restrictions is correct. He told me verbally that he had visited the site and they were incorrect. The original proposal did refer to a loading bay on this length, but this was removed from the plan after the comments that this council made. During the consultation. The areas the coaches to use are, as we know, further north in the vicinity of McDonald's and to the north of the pier. As you will appreciate, we are trying to ensure the revised restrictions are enforced by the civil parking ordinance and will raise the concern of coaches using the embassy bus stop as a particular concern. We are also trying to work with coach companies on this one. For the remainder of the summer, we will be investigating any comments made to enable further relevant changes to be made in due course. We are confident, however, that the measures already introduced are of benefit. We've also had a comment from the Confederation of Passenger Transport UK about it as well, which we forwarded on to the Senior Highways Officer. Good afternoon, may I introduce myself. The matter of coach parking, picking up and setting down the Grand Parade has been brought to our attention, and the concern raised about the practice causing inconvenience to residents and road users. I don't believe that we've been involved with this issue in the recent past, but if we can be of any assistance in resolving the problems, we would be only too keen to help if we can. Coach traffic is still part of the tourist economy of Skegness. The resort figures in the majority of our members' UK tour and day trip programmes, and we would be keen to maintain a relationship with businesses which has developed over many years. So it's in our mutual interest to ensure all stakeholders are content with the outcome. As someone who's spent a great deal of time in Skegness over the years, I'm only too aware of the congestion which can occur in the town, and we would also stress that far from being the problem, buses and coaches can play a major part in reducing congestion. So that is a response there which we forward on to the industry.
Right, so you've heard the responses. Any comments, Councillor Carpenter?
Yes, Mr Mayor. First of all, I'd like to declare a bit of an interest. Being an employee of Stagecoach, obviously, we operate buses along the foreshore. I was part
you know, that either that is an interest that you're declaring, or it's not an interest.
Well, it's not an interest. There's no gain from it, Darren. As you know, I was a member of the working group with Lincolnshire Highways as regards the promenade and the marking out. Unfortunately, the new plans came in. We did agree them at council, the plans that are in place at the moment. Unfortunately, between the top of Caston Boulevard and the clock tower, does look like a chessboard with all the loading bays, disabled bays, bus bays. I was wondering if we could get any more bays between them to make it a full line, actually. And it's obviously not working. People don't understand a coach isn't a bus. A coach is a vehicle which carries passengers on holiday and day tours. It cannot be used for state carriage use because it's not DDA applicable. You cannot get disabled on. And local buses obviously are DDA applicable. So, you know, the bus stop outside the embassy has always been a local bus stop. It's never been a coach stop. And there should be a sign on there to say that it is for local buses only. I don't think it's something we're going to actually solve this year. It's too late. We're in the second week of the school holidays with 4 weeks left. You know, I think it's something that we need to take back to Highways. Again, get another working group at Highways, explain it's not working, and try and get something what will work, correct writing on the road, for instance, coaches and buses, and also get the traffic wardens, which I have noticed while I've been out there as well, who completely ignore the wrongful parking along there and just walk past and do nothing about it. So that needs to be done as well. But as I say, it's something we need to get together with Highways again, this council, re-look at that and start from scratch again, because it's certainly not working. It's taking buses 40 minutes from North Parade to the bus station on average during the last 2 weeks, which can't be acceptable really.
Right. Councillor Dunnett, Councillor Anderson, Councillor Rowley.
Yeah, good points I want to raise tonight. You mentioned in the reply about the taxi rank. There's signage up there displaying no parking from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. There's a taxi rank. Tonight, my pictures taken at 6:30 tonight, where the bay is still full of disabled parking. So we do need this enforcement to continue. We need an enforcement officer at night time to make sure that these taxi ranks. There's another issue outside the bingo next door, where taxis can't drop off the elderly to the bingo at 6 o'clock, because they're still full of cars displaying disabled badges. Something needs to be done.
Councillor Anderson. Yeah, thank you. Then Councillor Cooper.
Obviously there is an issue which the town clerk has raised from the highway officer, which he has responded and held his hands up with the signage being wrong, and hopefully that be rectified. I'm a bit concerned that our county council representative, Hunter Clark, is not involved. Looking through the minutes of Lincolnshire County Council, he's a member of the Planning and Regulation Subcommittee, which actually looks at highway issues for this area and other areas of Lincolnshire. He is the person responsible on that committee for putting TROs in, because I used to sit on that committee along with you. Putting all the issues of highways, like TRO, bus stops and everything else that needs to be done, into practice. But we seem to be a bit silent from that person, our county councillor, in big time. So I just wonder why there isn't any correspondence to him when he actually sits on that committee, the only committee he sits on, at Lincoln, supposed to be representing us.
Yes, I'm just thinking that all this could have been avoided a long while ago. We've got Richmond Drive, there's a coach park there, they should have been parking there regardless, no matter about anything else. But as Councillor Carpenter said, he says there's a difference, there is a difference between coaches and buses. This is true. We've got the same problem down the one-way system and the same thing. Buses to go down there, not coaches. The coaches do go down there to get there onto the top on the seafront. Now, why on earth couldn't have all been stopped a long while ago and gone to Richmond Park, Coach Park, where it should be?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I think as a town council we're walking on thin ice. This town very much relies on tourism. And the one thing we don't want to do is scare people away. But what we do need to do is manage the coaches properly. And as Councillor Cavitas has just said, there are places where coaches can park. The whole setup at the moment is wholly unsatisfactory and needs review. And as I remember the discussions around this, highways were a bit wet in relation to their recommendations. So I think this year nothing's going to change this year. But in relation to next year, it needs to change. And it's no good just putting some signs up and still leaving a huge bay, because they'll still park in the bay. Those lines have got to be burnt off, and the bays have got to be allocated properly. It's so important that our local bus services also are able to park, and we can't have situations with buses pulling up in the middle of the road, compromising the safety of those passengers that the bus is dropping off. So, Mr. Mayor, I think it's so important that we have some representation from this council to actually walk around the town with Lincolnshire Highways, because clearly we don't have any representation from our county councillor. So I think we've got to bypass the county councillor and actually try to deliver something that works for Skegness.
Thank you very much. Firstly, Buckland's Baptist motion. The motion's got 3 items on it. As we mentioned, why 4 spaces instead of 1? I know on the last plan there were actually 4 spaces. 4 spaces were in the last plan. The plan came for March, April, about 4 spaces. But what I'd like to ask the proposal and second, if they wouldn't mind, if we had a 4th item to their list, asking Lincolnshire County Council what actually are they doing to enforce their new parking restrictions. Because I'm sorry, we can have as many lines, as many bays as we like on that. If nobody enforces it, it makes no difference. Disabled parking is there for use by disabled. One of the issues was disabled people parking on the northbound side. Well, disabled people have moved over, so now the coaches are parking there. So we've actually achieved a great deal. I actually believe it's slightly better, because it used to be absolute chaos, now it's only chaos for 3 or 4 hours a day rather than all day. So I say we're going in the right direction, but it's about enforcement. If you don't stop these people doing it, or make it cost them something, they'll carry on doing it. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to add that 4th one. Could we ask Lincolnshire County Council what measures they have present and intend to have to enforce any these parking restrictions and any further ones going forward? And that, with your...
Let me just summarise what I've heard so far. I get the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that the responses which the clerk has read out, you don't find satisfactory. Insofar as some of the issues which have been raised, your comments would indicate that it was improperly addressed. Now, Councillor Kirk suggested a further question. Would you think it more appropriate insofar as I read your comments, that you don't have to really respond. If we can get a highways officer down here and say, look, we've looked at everything, with the local people, the local knowledge and experience, this is not working. This is what we think we should do. Yeah. Should that have any traction in the room, do you think? Yeah, I think
I'd just like to listen to what's been said. I'd just like to put my I worked last Saturday night, and as Councillor Janet says, we couldn't get on the taxi ranks because they were full of disabled vehicles. As there were several at the bingo parks on the disabled on the taxi rank with disabled badges. I rang the police. Yes, we'll get somebody down because they're causing an obstruction. Once they're causing an obstruction, that becomes a police matter. The police can go down and ticket them. Nothing was done whatsoever. Out of courtesy, I rang the North Crane Bingo and I explained to them that there were vehicles parked outside, their customers' vehicles, and would they put a shout out on their PA system that vehicles were parked outside on a licensed company carriage stand illegally, and the police had been informed. Nothing was done about it whatsoever. So what we're getting still with this is people just ignoring what's written on signs and whatever, and knowing that there's going to be no enforcement at all. It's like these bays that say buses. As Councillor Carpenter says, they should say coaches. And at the moment, there is no time limit on these. It just says, well, it actually says buses only. There's no time limit. It should be coaches set down 15 minutes. Job done. And after that, they should be liable for a ticket. Saturday dinner time for about an hour as you go off the clock tower onto South Parade. There was a coach parked completely on the zigzag lines, unloaded and messing about, completely breaking umpteen road laws. And if I see it, why can't the police see it? And if the police are seeing it, not doing anything about it, we're never, ever going to get anything. And as for the response from Ian Middleburg, I actually said to him at a meeting that the signage should be local buses only, and by his own admission, he's messed it up. So he should be held accountable for that. He should be made accountable for the fact that he's messed up, and we are paying the price for it. We shouldn't be in a situation where our local buses cannot get onto a bus stop to get their passengers on and off, and they've got to unload or load actually on the highway. It's a recipe for disaster.
Right. I think we had a very good response to this. As I say, I think everyone is critical of the response. I really want to take this. I mean,
well, I would propose that we make a formal complaint about the way that we've been dealt with, for a start, because we've gained nothing. We've just shifted the problems up and down the seafront. We've gained absolutely nothing. In fact, Lincolnshire County Council's own Paul Connect was parked on the loading bays last Saturday. He's got no right to be on there at all. He works for Lincolnshire County Council.
I think the problem is, in all these matters, it is a question of enforcement. I mean, the current regulations, yes, that is it's important to do that they are not comprehensive enough, or there's an incorrect emphasis on certain aspects of road traffic management. But at the end of the day, whichever system that we support, there's got to be a large element of enforcement. If that is absent, so we can talk about this, forever and a day, nothing's really going to get done. Carl.
Yeah, you seem to be talking about it for a long time. Could I propose that we put the original motion to the vote, plus the addition of Councillor Kirk's item 4?
Now, is the second that I used to support that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Right, are you clear what we're doing?
Before we I just want to be clear, because effectively I've already preempted the motion and contacted the appropriate Lincolnshire County Council officer with exactly the questions that have been raised in this motion. If I do so again, all I'm doing is repeating, and I suspect I will get the same answer back from him.
going by want to support the motion. That reinforces the town clerk's authority once this council has decided to accept that motion. We are the democratically elected councillors, and we are asking the Lincolnshire County Council to respond not just to the town clerk but to us as councillors. And I think that the motion should go forward.
I have to say, I think it's been very spread back. I think that's been what the motion was. The motion comes to town council. It just was to debate it further, decide whether we want to support it before the town clerk approaches which. Now, I did say it's part of consultation, I understand that. But I think we still need to go through the process. The process is this council does or does not support this motion, and then the town clerk goes and does as the council instructs. I just think we're dodging water if the town clerk's going off and doing things, guessing what the outcome of the motion might be.
Yeah, can I respond to that? This has been part of ongoing consultation, and there has been a dialogue going on between County Council and ourselves for many months about this. These questions, I think, were legitimate questions in the sense that they were about the original proposal that was put to this council and what was agreed, and therefore I sought to clarify that. So, for example, why 4 spaces instead of 1? Well, actually, as Councillor Carpenter said, there were 4 spaces on it was actually a longer bay on that. So their response is, well, actually, that was what was proposed. Why is the sign outside the embassy? They've agreed that that is incorrect and they're going to rectify it. So are these errors going to be corrected? One doesn't have to be corrected because it was in the original proposal. The other one is going to be corrected. So that's why I asked the question, in that we've already got a response to those, and I can't see that Lincolnshire County Council, in asking those questions, will give any different response. Therefore, is Council sure that it just wants to ask those questions again, or does it want to add to those, given the debate that's happened tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think as a consequence of this being debated tonight, it's very, very clear that the Town Council are unhappy with the current situation and we need a review. So the motion is going forward tonight, and the consequence of that motion being agreed by this council hopefully will stimulate a review led by the town clerk. But that will need to come from the proposer and the seconder.
Yeah, one of the things that also, we've heard all this before from Ian Edinburgh, and we need to get him down to this council again to really reiterate that we're not displeased, we're disgusted by what's happened, and it's as simple as that. But we also need to find out from whichever group it is or whichever department at Lincolnshire County Council that are dealing with the enforcement, why their enforcement people aren't doing their job on the seafront. And they're wandering around Ida Road and Park Avenue and places and Seaview Road. Why aren't they on the seafront at the peak times when these people are dropping off illegally and just walking up to them with the power that they've got? Oh, there's your ticket, don't park on here again. Word soon gets round. If enforcement is taken, it's got to be taken and done strongly with force, not dilly-dally. We need to know of the group of people at Lincolnshire County Council why they aren't enforcing this rule and regulation on the seafront.
Right, okay, well, we've had a very good debate on this. Now, we have Councillor Cardwell. Councillor Cardwell,
yeah.
sorry. You said that you wanted to put forward a further motion with the addition of, based on Councillor Kirk's contribution.
Possible review.
Yeah,
taking on board what the town clerk has said, I'm a bit confused as to what we can or can't. I mean, one of the things that we need to know is when are the errors going to be corrected? It's okay, Ian Nickelborough saying, yes, we made a mistake, we'll put it right. When are they going to be put right? And as we say, the enforcement isn't being done now. When will the enforcement actually be taking place? We know when, for instance, when they came to do a survey, they came when all the coaches had stopped coming, which didn't seem to make much sense. Are we going to start doing the enforcement in January? So, I mean, I'm willing to alter the motion depending on what the wishes of the councillors are for what we'd like to do.
Again, Councillor Carver and Councillor May's approval, recommend amendments to the motion as follows. The motion is that we contact the appropriate authority to answer questions. When will the errors on the signage be corrected? When will appropriate enforcement action start to take place? And thirdly, at the end of the season, that we would like to enter into a review arrangement with Lincolnshire County Council so that in future years going forward we can move forward as one body rather than two separate authorities.
Yeah, right, Councillor, if you want to.
All right, Councillor, just what I was going to talk.
Councillor Green. Right, so I think this is somewhere at last. Councillor Dirk for the. Is that second?
So, we can adapt this motion.
Yes,
the
Yeah, I'm willing to do as Councillor Kirk has suggested. Leave the top bit as is on the motion and alter the sort of 4 bits to what's been suggested. As an amendment.
Are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Right, so I think are we all clear on what we're voting on? Okay? Those in favour of the proposal, please show. Any against?
Yeah, no, because they're out of red and proposal.
Yeah, you abstain.
Can I just make a practical suggestion that users may invite highways down at the peak period of what was bank holiday and stand there, ask if they're happy to stand there and view what's going on, just as a snapshot. That would be useful information.
Happy to do that.
Make that invite.
Right, so as I say, I suggest we do that. We'll move on then, colleagues. Item 13, car park charging, report of tax.
This, the car park report was due to go to direction and strategy, but unfortunately the meeting was recorded. But because an invitation had been made to the office, I think we can. Those that were present listened